friends. Today I have a silly story to read to you about a bunch of mice. Would you like to have mice for a pet? Well, Mrs. Brice does. Mrs. Brice's mice. This story is written and illustrated by Sid Hoff. He wrote the words. He also drew the pictures in this silly story. Mrs. Brice's mice. Mrs. Brice had 25 mice. She fed her mice the finest cheese. She washed and dried them behind their ears so they were always clean. Mrs. Brice loved to sing for them. When she played the piano, 24 little mice danced around her. One very small mouse danced on top of her head. On top of her hand. He was afraid to fall between the keys. See that little one there? When Mrs. Brice went to bed, 12 little mice slept on one side of her. 12 little mice slept on the other side. And one small mouse slept on the clock in case he wanted to know what time it was. In the morning, Mrs. Brice did exercises. She stretched her arms and legs. She bent over and touched her toes with her fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 24 little mice did exercises too. They stretched, they bent, they touched their toes. One very small mouse kept on sleeping. It is time for our walk, said Mrs. Brice. 12 little mice walked in front of her. 12 little mice walked in back. One very small mouse sat on top of Mrs. Brice's hat so he could see where they were going. He saw a cat. 12 little mice ran this way. 12 little mice ran that way. One very small mouse jumped down to the ground and ran this way and that. Do you know that cats like to eat mice? That is why they're running away. He ran so many different ways. The cat got tired of chasing him and went back to whatever he was doing. What a clever little mouse you are, said Mrs. Brice. Now we can go to buy some food. 24 little mice sat in a cart and enjoyed the ride. One very small mouse sat in front. Can you see? Right there. They went up one aisle. They went down another. Mrs. Brice bought food in cans, food in jars, cold food, and hot food. Now we can go home, said Mrs. Brice. 24 little mice were glad. But one very small mouse kept on leading the way. He led them to the dairy counter. What might you find at the dairy counter? Do you think they'll find crackers and bread there? No, that would be the bakery. Do you think they'll find chicken and hamburger there? No, that would be the deli. Dairy counter. Let's see what they find there. Mrs. Brice bought a nice big cheese. Oh, dairy comes from milk. Cheese and milk and yogurt and ice cream you might find in the dairy section. Then she and her mice went home to eat it. After they ate, Mrs. Brice sang and played the piano. 24 mice danced around her. One very small mouse kept right on eating. And that's the story of Mrs. Brice's mice. I hope you guys enjoyed that. It made me laugh a little bit. I hope you're having a good day. I miss you all, but I hope I can see you soon, and I'll be back tomorrow with another story.